Hi everyone, I'm Tanaaz from foreverconscious.com and this is your weekly energy forecast for the week of June 1st. I am back from my maternity break. I am happy to say that I gave birth to a healthy baby boy under that Libra full moon on April 12th. He's doing really well, settling into his life earthside as well as can be. We named him Leo. So thank you all so much for your well wishes, and let's just get right into it. Let's get into this first week of June. I want to just recap on where we're at. We're at the halfway point in the calendar year. When we started 2025, I had shared that this is a number 9 year in numerology, and number 9 is the number of endings. So really, all through the year of 2025, we're dealing with this theme of endings. And we're right now halfway through. Maybe you've already started to experience some endings, or maybe you're at this point where you can feel the end is coming. And I'm feeling this. I'm really starting to see it in the world around me, see it in the cosmic energies. Since the beginning of the year, we've been really forced to confront and peeling back layers, confronting what we find, getting into the weeds of it, knowing that there is something new waiting for us, a new chapter, a new beginning, but still not quite able to understand what it is. Knowing we need to change, but not knowing what that change is. Or not that we don't know, maybe we do know, but we're still in that confrontation, in the weeds, trying to navigate what's on the other side of that. So I really feel like that's what we've kind of been moving through, this shedding, confronting, and with all that retrograde energy that we had at the start of the year as well, a real need to kind of confront our past, deal with our past before we can move ahead. So at this point, we may be feeling the desire to move ahead, feeling the desire to make some changes, but just not quite there yet in what those changes might be or what they might look like. And I'm just seeing this as a trend happening in our cosmic skies. As we enter June, we are coming in to this month on the back of the Silver Gate portal. This portal, I really want to give it some love because I think it really is the most powerful stargate we have all year, and it really doesn't get enough attention. The Silver Gate portal is when the sun aligns with Aldebaran, which is one of the 4 royal stars. And you can think of Aldebaran as the star of enlightenment. It's the star of higher mind. It's considered a very fortunate, lucky star in our galaxy. And when the sun aligns with Aldebaran, it is believed to unlock or we access the energy of the Silver Gateway, which is the gateway where souls are able to come down to Earth. Right before they reincarnate, they stop at the Silver Gate. Who knows what they do there? And then they come to Earth. So it's that point right before we reincarnate on planet Earth. So based on that, and as we're moving into June on the back of that Silver Gate portal, which peaks between the 28th and 30th of May, I want you to start thinking about, or I encourage you to start thinking about that moment, right? Let's just pretend we're back at that Silver Gate and we know we're about to reincarnate back to Earth. And maybe we've been to Earth millions of times before, maybe it's only our 3rd time, maybe it's our 1st time. And we're in that all-knowing state of spirit where we're really able to understand what we're coming here to do. We know our purpose, we know our destiny, we know we're going to forget it all once we get onto planet Earth and reincarnate and move through the human experience. But we're in that moment at the Silver Gate, we know, we remember. And I wonder if we could all just take ourselves back to that Silver Gate, to that moment before we reincarnate on Earth, and what wisdom would we give ourselves? It's a difficult question to ask, but if we do a little meditation, if we sit and journal, maybe first thing in the morning, last thing at night when our brain waves are in a little bit more of a relaxed state, maybe the answer will come to us. Maybe even as you're watching this video, a little intuition or inkling can come about. What would that soul self want to tell me about where I am right now at this point in my life. Might be some journal exercise you might like to try, but I'm throwing that out there because I really want us, even though the portal energy has dissipated at this point, or is slowly dissipating, I really want us to be able to use it and harness it, because it just kind of goes a little bit unmissed otherwise. And then as we enter into this week, we are starting to feel two things. One is Jupiter moving into Cancer. This technically happens next week on June 9th, but this is one of the biggest cosmic events of 2025, Jupiter moving into Cancer. Jupiter spends about 12 months of the zodiac in each, it spends about 12 months in each sign of the zodiac. So it kind of gives us the flavor for the next year ahead. Jupiter in Cancer is a very heart activating energy. Jupiter expands. Cancer is a very heart centered energy, a very emotional energy, a very sensitive, in tune, in touch with our emotional body. When Cancer is operating at the highest vibration, the Cancer zodiac, it is really strong, self-assured, in a powerful place of self-love and confidence. And this is something that kind of gets missed with Cancer energy. We tend to think of it as soft and sensitive and heart-led, but it's actually very brave and secure. And I think we forget that when we are heart aware, when we're heart open, when we honor our sensitivities, it makes us feel confident, brave, and secure. And that is kind of the higher octaves of Cancerian energy. How can I feel secure and confident in myself? When we feel loved, when we honor our emotions, when we honor our sensitivities, we step into a place of confidence. And from that confidence comes bravery. And from that bravery comes security. So this is really what I think Jupiter in Cancer is going to be massaging for us. How can I feel secure? What makes me feel secure? What makes me feel confident? And part of that process might be bringing up our insecurities, might be bringing up those emotions and sensitivities that we ignore, don't really want to look at, or don't know how to deal with. I'm thinking now about my 3-year-old now having a sibling and just not, being the center of attention all the time, and really trying to teach her some ways to regulate her emotions, and letting her self-regulate, and also being there for her, holding space for her as she moves through the 10th tantrum of the day. And, it really is something that I think I'm definitely no expert on it, but I really think it's something that even as we grow older, it's so hard to do. How do I regulate myself? And often we end up gravitating to, unhealthy vices, or we ignore it, we sweep it under the rug, we suppress it, So I think just this is where Jupiter in Cancer is going to be kind of guiding us. How can we really learn to love the sensitivities, learn to love our empathic qualities, learn to really get used to our emotions, and then from that, creating a sense of security and bravery and confidence to just be ourselves. So that is where we are heading. But Jupiter is wrapping up, before we can start that energy, Jupiter is wrapping up its energy, its cycle in Gemini. So it's been in Gemini for the last 12 months. And as it's moved through Gemini, it's really been focusing on communication, how we communicate, how we express ourselves, how we put ourselves out into the world. So that might be stuff that's coming up for us as Jupiter prepares to leave this part of the zodiac. It might be, we might be working through some of that energy. Also, we will be feeling that Sagittarius full moon. It's coming June 11th, not quite here in this week, but as we get closer to the full moon, we tend to feel the buildup of that lunar energy, which is guiding us to release, let go, shed, all that stuff. And with Jupiter moving into Cancer, which is a very moon-led sign, I think we're all going to start feeling the lunar cycle a lot more strongly. So just something to think about as we're easing in to next week. I hope you found that helpful. I am now going to pull a card from my Cosmic Astrology Oracle deck, which, by the way, if you haven't already realized, it's back in stock. So please check that out. They're available on Etsy. I am going to shuffle the cards. So for those of you who don't know, it's a deck of 50 cards, all with cosmic elements. So the planets, the zodiac. Oh, we have a jumping card. The planets, the elements, and stars like this one, Fomalhaut, which jumped out of the deck as I was shuffling, and then you get a guidebook. So you can use it for readings, you can use it to learn astrology. There's so many ways to use it, so check out Etsy. All right, let's have a look at Fomalhaut, the loneliest star. You know, it's interesting, I talked about Aldebaran, which is one of the 4 royal stars. This is also a royal star. Fomalhaut is also a royal star, and it gets the name the loneliest star because it sits out in a part of the universe, or part of our galaxy, kind of by itself. As you can see in the image there, it's sort of shines bright, but it's alone, and I think that's an interesting metaphor, perhaps. Fomalhaut, so I'm just reading from the booklet. Fomalhaut is one of the 4 royal stars. It lights up a corner of the night sky, seemingly all by itself, which is why it has earned the title of being the loneliest star. It stands out, yet stands alone. Fomalhaut's energy can indicate the need to withdraw or go within, so to spend some alone time with yourself. You may wish to sit in silence or journal to uncover your deepest thoughts and feelings. Who are you when no one is watching? Who are you when you are alone? Fomalhaut wants us to peel back the layers, I'm talking about that, and connect with more of our true, authentic self. Fomalhaut is also believed to be the gateway between this world and the next. So that's really interesting because we talked about Aldebaran being the gateway for souls coming to Earth, whereas Fomalhaut is the gateway for souls leaving Earth. Drawing this card indicates a need to return to yourself. It is also a sign that you are walking the bridge between ending a chapter and beginning a new one. We spoke about that too, right? 2025 being this theme of endings and feeling like this new chapter is coming, but not quite able to grasp it just yet. This can be a lonely yet highly creative space. That is so true. When we're in that stage of things falling apart, it can feel very lonely. We have a lot of emotions. It can feel like confusing. We're kind of down in the weeds. We know we can see the light up there, but we're down in here. It can be a lonely space, but also a very creative one. Sometimes down in those weeds, we can really access a beautiful creativity. Take some time to be in solitude and listen to your own thoughts and feelings. Grieve for what is past, but create some space to get excited about the coming new beginnings. Fomalhaut is a very powerful and special card that reminds us all things are temporary. Use it as a reminder to spend more time with you. And I just want to offer, when you're down in the weeds, and maybe you're feeling like there's a new beginning for you, but you're not quite sure what it is just yet, I think accessing our creativity is one of the most powerful things we can do. So that could look like drawing, coloring, art, journaling, making music, finding a creative outlet. It doesn't even have to be for any reason. Just the act of creating can help inspire us. I have been through many phases of my life, trying to figure stuff out, and I always feel like I've gravitated towards creative things, and from that I used to make candles. I don't know if any of you remembered that. Way back in the beginning of Forever Conscious, I dabbled in candle making. I sold them on Etsy, I think, tried watercolor. Crocheting, just the act of creating, doing something, it kind of shifts our vibration. Even if we don't have an end result to it, you don't necessarily have to make candles and sell them, but just that creative process can really help support this journey of where we're at right now. That is the card. It's card number 45 if you have this deck at home and you want to work with it and look up the guidebook. All right, I think I've spoken enough. Good to see you all again. I will be back next week. I'm Tanaaz from foreverconscious.com. Thank you so much.